Welcome to another episode of Chowhound Life on a Budget. I want to bring up something that happens here in LA. It's REAP. REAP is when code enforcement comes out to your building. They write you up. And if you don't get things fixed in a certain amount of time, they put your building in REAP. Your tenants will pay part of the rent to an escrow account. You do not collect no rents on your building. So if you have a note, you're screwed, because then you got to pull out of your savings or whatever it is you got, your backup money, and make the payments on the building anyway. Because while it's in REAP, you cannot collect any money on the building. Personally, my opinion on the REAP situation is they taking buildings. They're doing that in this city. They're putting a lot of buildings in REAP and they're taking them. This is why I've taken the proactive approach to fix all my buildings up. To fix them up so that way there's no question. New roofs, new flooring, new paint, new windows. Doing all that I can to fix the buildings up. So that way we taking Section H2 and they go in, everything's brand new. We even put new stoves and refrigerators in. And I vet the people that go in. I vet them. So that way I know I'll have some decent tenants. Sometimes you get a problem here and there, but it's not majorly like we used to have when we had the 73 buildings that we used to have back in the day. We had up to 73 apartment buildings. It was a mess. And I'll be out with the old man every day. We would be in the morning, coming in at night. And my sister was always worrying, where y'all at? Where y'all at? I'm like, we still out at the buildings. So the thing is, we were working long hours with all those buildings. They had me going. He was going. You know, I had to drive him around and do what I had to do, and I had to serve the summons and eviction papers, everything else. So we had the opportunity of having to experience REAP 2 times. We had a roofer come out, put a new roof on the building, and what happened was they tore the top of the building off, and it was raining. It was during rain time. You don't do no roofing when it's raining or when it's forecasting to rain. You don't do it. They started raining in people's apartments. They ruined their carpet, ruined their personal items. We had to pay for all of that. So what they did was they ended up putting us in REAP. And we had to go down to the Department of Water and Power, because that's where they had the REAP meetings at. And we had to show that, hey, we're doing this work. Here's the certification. Here's the permits. And what happens is we get it out of REAP, and finally they release the monies, but we don't get the full amount of the rents, because when they had it in REAP, they only paid like 40% of their rent, 50%. It depends. So that's a situation in itself. So in essence, you got to keep the buildings out of REAP. That's what you got to do. And my buddies, him and his wife is going through that right now. They got a building to REAP. And people were just tearing their place up from what he was telling me. They finally got everything together, fixed everything, because and I had experienced this myself, even over at the building I'm at right now. This one here, and I got my workers working. My workers out there working. Where we will fix something, they'll turn around and tear it back up after we fixed it. And they'll call in on us. See, you got to deal with that kind of BS too when owning property. So he's going through that right now. He finally got everything fixed. And attorneys for the tenants and his attorney, him and his wife's attorney, they agreed, and they all everybody has to pay their rents now. So they have to send their rents in. So the money got released out of the escrow, and then they got to pay. That's what dealing with the city. And then they got to pay, the tenants got to pay them their money. And I think they got to pay a fine. They got to pay a REAP fine. They do. Because we had to do it. So they're not going to excuse you from the fine, because that's money for them. So from there, the whole key is don't be a slumlord. Don't be a messy landlord. Take care of your business. If you don't have no money, and you can't fix the places, you should go ahead and get rid of it. If you can't fix your place, go ahead and get rid of it. Because you're gonna go down a rabbit hole, and if your tenants call on you and it goes in a REAP and you can't fix anything, the city will take your building from you. Yes, they will. So that's something you need to look at. So I'm just speaking on the issue of REAP right now. So with that being said, you got to take care of your business, keep your apartments up, and if you take care of them right, as soon as the Section 8 go in and inspect it, they're gonna pass. It's nothing. I leave nothing major. There'll be some minor thing like, oh, that smoke detector is not a combo. It's not a smoke detector combo carbon monoxide. That's something simple. Look, I got my workman here. We can change that right now so they can sign it off. That's some of the stuff that I do. I have to end up staying on top of stuff. Little minor things. If I see a countertop, a person's been in the apartment 30, 40 years, their countertops are fucked up and all of that. Excuse my French. I'll go ahead and tell them, go ahead and replace the countertop. Even though they had a lower rent base because they've been here so long, still, they live there. I wouldn't want to be in something that's falling apart, coming up cosmetically, doesn't look good. I'll go ahead and fix it up anyway. I've had them refinish the wood in some apartments. You don't have to necessarily put new counters in. We had carpenters that we built new countertops, new cabinets, and instead of doing new cabinets and do facings, I have them sand it down and they stain it. These are ways to save money. It may take a little time with your workmen. If you got a work crew like we have that we pay hourly, it may take a little time, but it gets done. And I got some examples of when you have your workmen doing your own work, I got some good examples. I have a hell of a good work crew, and a lot of them started out from scratch. So anyway, this is about how to deal with REAP and how to get out of REAP. This is Chowhound, Life on a Budget. Thanks for watching. Click like, subscribe, comment. Thank you.